G'day, John.
Hey, Phil.
You well?
Always well, mate.
You're looking fantastic.
Well, I feel good, mate.
Yeah?
Life's pretty good. I've got a big birthday this weekend.
Yes.
69. It's the almost birthday. The almost.
So then 60s, John.
So last year of celebrating something that starts with a 6. But hey,
70 starts with this. No.
Look, I'm just fortunate I'm still in pretty good health. I'm going to try and improve my health even further. We'll see what happens, but I'm not saying anything up front, but I'm just trying to do something that I haven't done for a while. We'll see what happens. But yeah, in general, pretty good.
Cool. And John, a UQ2 shirt.
UQ2 shirt. Well, Phil, you're one of the few who might remember this.
Yeah.
I had a 5-year sojourn in the pool community where I invested some money to run a pool hall, and UQ2 was the hall.
Yep.
In Pulteney Street in the city. Nice room, and you spent a bit of time down there, and you did help us out there a few times as well, Phil, I recall. And I just thought I'd go through all my stuff. I thought, we'll just bring up a bit of history. This was a room that was originally opened by the Lillies and the Delahunties. In Rundle Mall, that's right. So the Lillies eventually sold to Jack Lataris.
Yep.
So Jack bought the share, and then Mick was moving to a new room and wanted to sell his share. I think that was sort of when the relationship was broken up anyway. So I bought his share.
Yeah.
So I was there with Judy Delahunty and Jack Lataris and his family. So, but yeah, that was good. 5 years, interesting 5 years.
And you housed the South Australian Snooker Association.
We did eventually, yes. Well, it's funny. I'm now working part-time for Warren.
Yeah. And
Warren King was part of the partnership that actually used to host the SA Snooker Association at the Q Club and down in Weymouth Street. Anyway, it's hard because we're still mates. But Frank comes to me, and Frank joins now. I think he's president of Australia now, isn't he?
Australian president.
Australian president. Well, he was SA president at the time. And he goes, JB, I was thinking of relocating. I said, well, where to? And he said, well, I think we could do it at Europe. I said, well, look, I haven't really got, I think I had 2 snooker tables at the time. I said, look, I've got 2 snooker tables. Frankly, I've got everything else is mostly, 9-footers, 7-footers, and a couple of American tables. I go, oh, right. Okay, so, well, we've got some, our tables. So now I was fortunate, it was at the time when we were just renegotiating lease.
Yeah.
And I was able to put pressure on the landlord to reconstruct the design of it.
Yeah.
So that was good. So we could
like a mezzanine level, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Well, it was all, if you recall, the front half went up at about 12 degrees from the street.
Yeah.
So you had to actually pad up the lower legs to keep everything, all the tables. And I thought it was an unusual move that they went there without doing something initially. Yeah. But fortunately, I had the negotiating power at the time to say, well, if you don't do this, I'm going.
Yeah.
And it actually worked out. I bluffed them into doing it, and the room came up really nice, I think. We ended up with 3 levels.
Yeah.
With the snooker being at the back and enclosed and private, so away from the noise of the music of the young kids, which was imperative for snooker players, as you know. And worked out okay. But yeah, we actually hosted a number of championships. In fact, Neil Robertson.
Yeah, I was going to say, Neil...
he won the under-18s Australian there.
Yeah.
And he played Justin Campbell in the final there, actually.
And he won the... yet another major tournament there. It might have been the Adelaide Open. He beat Dave Collins in the final. Okay. So I lost to Dave Collins in the semis.
Okay.
And I had the highest break, John. I think I had 91 break, and then Neil made a 90-something in the final frame of the final to get me, so it's 30.
Yeah,
he got me for 300 or something.
But
that was a long time ago.
I know, but we saw the potential of Neil back then. Yeah. We had a lot of good players, but he just had that little bit extra.
Yeah.
And that's why he's gone on to be, the success he has been in the UK. And And a lot of us are a bit disappointed he hasn't done more. We expected him to do more. Once he broke through, we thought, this could be something where, you know, he could develop a little bit of a dynasty there.
Well, I remember, John, in that junior tournament that he won, and that was really the first time I'd seen him play.
Me too,
I'd seen him in Melbourne playing 8-ball, but not snooker. And I just couldn't believe how this kid gets smashing in long balls.
Oh, no.
He kept smashing them in. I was thinking, what is going on here? Not even the pros do this.
But what was interesting was that I noticed just about every frame, once he had control of the frame, you can't lose it, then he was happy to do a bit of showboating. And the thing, the interesting part was that everyone just sat there enthralled by it, because, you know, he would punch a blue in, and rather than just go, you know, hold for the pink, he'd go up and down off 3 cushions and load it up with some action, just to make it look more interesting. It was just, he obviously liked to have fun with the game as well, which is good. But it was attractive fun. You know, it wasn't just smashing the balls and see what happens. He was putting on a show for the crowd, and it certainly
sort of very like
entertained us.
Quinton Hand style, wasn't it?
Yep. Oh, Quinton, yeah, he's another a disappointing. You know, and here's another phenomenal skill. You know, it's so rare to have someone with that sort of ability, and it's a shame he hasn't gone on. But we won't harp on that. That's history. Now, you've got a lot of snooker going on here at the moment.
We have, John. Well, you know, winter's approaching, and that's more like our snooker season, and so we always open up with the SA Minor Snooker Championship and the billiards. We do it. Well, I like running it slightly in reverse. Normally you have the major, then the minor, but I prefer having the minor, and it's a build-up for the major.
Yep.
So this week, on the weekend, we have the minor state snooker titles, and the favourite going in there was Jason Yu.
Oh, absolutely.
He lost in the final last year. Just been in China for three or 4 weeks training.
Yep.
And he came back. So he was the number 1 seed and number 1 favourite. So everyone had him down there winning it.
Yes, yep.
But in the quarterfinals, Mohan, one of the Nepalese players, he had a different idea. And Mohan, who's won numerous tournaments last year, is a very good player and a very nice person. Yeah, he got Jason in the quarterfinals, so that was a big upset.
So opened up the draw to
now
the field,
right up. So in the semi-finals, we've got Peter Darby. He's already the current SA Minor Billiards champion, so he could do the double here. And as you know, he's won 2 state championships, as he would have.
Well, he's on a comeback trail health-wise.
His name's on the board out there.
Yeah.
Look, so you've got Peter Darby, and he's playing a guy called Raj Chawla. Not many people know Raj, but he plays in the T140 and 147 events.
Okay.
And he does extremely well.
Okay.
I knew he was going to play well this weekend because I've seen him play.
Yeah.
So he surprised a lot of people. He's made it to the semi-finals.
Okay.
And in the other semi, we've got obviously Mohan, who defeated Jason, and Kieran Maguire. Kieran, a very solid player that most people in Adelaide wouldn't know because he just plays snooker. Very unassuming, very nice guy.
Kieran,
you probably would know Kieran, but so it's going to be on Wednesday night, John. We've got the semi-final kicking off at 6 o'clock, and then we play the final straight afterwards. So they
got a busy matches tomorrow, yeah.
And in the plate, the semi-finals, we had Shane Murphy versus Mike Wellens, of which Mike Wellens got up and beat Shane in the decider. And in the other semi-final, the minor, we had Frankie So and George Nikolopoulos. And I thought Shane would win, and I thought George would win, and the final is between Frankie and Mike Wellens. So on Wednesday night, we've also got the final of the SA Minor Plate, which is Mike Wellens versus Frankie So. And then, John, we run the Challenger League snooker, which is like equivalent to the B grade, and that's run on a Wednesday night as well. And it just happens that we've got the final of that this Wednesday night as well, which is Alex Wong and Tony Moyman in the final. They've been by far the best 2 players in the league. They've only lost 1 match each, and Tony Moyman lost to Alex Wong. So Alex Wong has lost 1 match, and Tony's lost 1 match, and they're both playing off in the final. So I know that Tony is very keen to avenge his loss, and he's been working for a couple of years at winning this event. And you probably would see Tony in Empire now.
Yes, I do.
He's joined in the Vegas League, so he's opting to play the Vegas League next season as opposed to the snooker, and so he'll want to go out on a winning note. But I probably have Alex, probably a slight favourite in that final.
Okay.
And we also have the minor, we have the plate of the Challenger League, which is between Gary Hazel and Vinay Singh. And Vinay won it last year, and Gary Hazel is a warrior of the Cuesport, well, not Cuesport, the snooker fraternity, supports all our events. So it's going to be a fantastic night in here on Wednesday night. 4 finals, and all 4 quality finals. And the beauty is, John, you know, everyone wants to play a final and everyone wants to win a final.
Well,
so,
and that's right. And as you've just pointed out, it's very hard to pick winners in these, in the lower echelons, we'll call it. Well, because, you know, people have a good day and then they can turn up and upset the field.
Well, I think in the minor, Derby has the experience over all them players. Yes. And I think that Kieran Maguire is a very tough competitor. They're my 2 tips for the final. And I think Alex might edge Tony Moyman, but wouldn't be surprised if that went the other way. And I'm not tipping any more, because I got them all wrong last week. But anyway, it's a good time for SA Snooker. The room is really busy at the moment, John.
Yeah, that's excellent. It's good to have that sort of activity. Yeah. I mean, you've got a loyal membership here, and there's no reason why there isn't room for more, Phil. So anyone out there that's interested in the game, snooker certainly is the diamond of cue sports. So if you want to learn how to play any cue sport at all, come and play snooker here. So if you get your snooker grooved, you can play any other cue sport, any other cue discipline, and there's plenty of people here that will coach you.
And I put a just shout out for that, John Tyson Crinnis. He's our head coach, and since the success of Jason, we've had lots of juniors come through, like Connor has come through here, and Charlotte, and a couple others.
Oh, the Jeffrey. What about Jeffrey?
They've been through
to Ayers boys.
He's coaching another young player at the moment, and also Renee was in here getting some coaching lessons. There's a few 8-ball players that have been in here this week that I don't know, John, that have coming through. Chris Wilmer. So all of a sudden, Tyson is coaching not just snooker players. In this past couple of weeks, I've probably seen 5 8-ball players come in here.
It's amazing the amount of 8-ball players that have come to me and asked me, could I coach them? And I say, look, you know, there's certain people, if I've got some time, I'll do it, but I don't. And I said, if you really want to do something, come and see Tyson. And because he understands the full gamut of what it is to be a good cue sports player. There's no sense in me giving little tips to things because I really don't understand, and you've seen my cue action lately, Phil. It's not something you pass on to anybody. I've always tried to push people this way, not just to Tyson, but to James. Of course, we're lucky to have James Gianaris, someone who's been an enthusiast of cue sports as long as I've known him. I've known him for 40 plus years, I think now. Gentleman of the game, loves to impart knowledge, and certainly come and spend some time with James. I know he's done a lot with Jason. I think Jason probably more aligned himself to James than to Tyson, actually, with coaching techniques.
I think James is more teaching in the finer art of playing snooker, and Tyson's more working on his action.
On the action,
so Tyson's straightening him out, get his connection right, and James has been teaching him the art of playing snooker. So it's a pretty good combination.
Okay. Phil, we're going all right. I keep looking. Phil's got a dash shortly, so he's given us a little time frame, and I'm thinking, geez, we're waffling here, and then I'll have a look at my watch thing. We've got heaps of time.
Yeah, no, it's all good. So anyway, John, I just finished off with the snooker. The matches will be streamed live on Wednesday on our Facebook page, which is Snooker SA Adelaide, and anyone's welcome to come in and have a look. And like John said, anyone's interested in playing snooker, come on down. We've got plenty of room here. Get in the league. Playing any of the comps. But anyway, we'll get on to some pool, John.
Yeah, well, obviously the biggest event of the weekend was the Pockets Challenger Series.
Yeah.
And we had, I think we probably had 8 players, quality players.
You know what, John, I think I spoke to you last week. I was surprised how many from Adelaide were there, like the Kane Weaklings, the Anthony Grantham and Jason Ahmeds, Aaron Lynch,
Ian Henson, Sean Salmon. Who else was
he's
there?
not Adelaide now, but Grant Weekly was there.
Yeah.
It was a big. I was surprised how many we had there, John.
It was very good, and I'm just, we're considering the quality of these players as well. That we can't get someone near the point here.
Yeah.
Quarters seems to be about our stumbling block at the moment, and there's no reason why, because there's none of the players that I've seen go further. I would say have far superior players. Our guys could match it with them head to head, I believe. So
the only thing I can think of, John, is even with Alex and Mikey and Jaden in the major one, they've taken 3 or 4 events to settle down in the moment to get to the final. And Alex going to win games, and Jaden getting to the pointy end. So hopefully, maybe this is the same scenario. So
it is a time, because it is so different. I mean, we still play 30-30 here.
Yeah.
So for those of you unaware, 30 seconds and then a warning, and then another 30 seconds to play a shot. We're over there, it's 30 seconds in total, and it starts chiming at 10, I think, is it?
Yeah.
So 10 seconds, once you've used 20 seconds up, the chimes start, and you've got to get down and start hitting the ball. So that's an adjustment thing. I think...
And the other one, John?
Yep.
You showed me the New Zealanders, how they've been doing well, and what I've noticed is they're actually playing on supreme tables over there.
Yep.
Maybe in Melbourne they've got more access to supreme tables, because they're in Adelaide. They're still playing a lot on the
on standard 7-foot tables.
So maybe that might be.
There are a splattering of supreme tables here, but they're not somewhere where you've got access to them every day. So I know that Mikey, Little and Stacey have one, and Mikey practices a lot with them, and I think Jados goes around there too.
Jason Della has one.
Jason Della has one, but whether or not he has much time to play with anyone, but he might actually sell that table. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So I haven't spoken to James for a little while, so I'll have to catch up with him, because he has decided he's not going to play that series, not this year anyway.
Yeah.
Now, if he chooses to next year, I think he's finishing a degree. So if he completes his studies this year, I think he might have more time next year where he can get involved in, which would be fantastic, because we all know how good he is.
Yeah.
And he's such a good player. But certainly, let's go through the results. Well, we had a couple of solid wins there.
Well, Michael Reardon won the first event, and he beat Alex Kingsbury in the final, and he beat him 6-0. And the second one was won by Ryan King.
Kiwi. The Kiwi, he won the Super League, New Zealand North Island Super League recently too. So, he's had a big week.
So he beat a friend of mine, or I should have say a friend, a foe, or a rival, or a nightmare of mine, Brent Wells in the finals.
That's right. Well, Brent is good to see. We were just discussing that earlier, and the fact that it's good to see Brent still firing, because Brent goes back to our day, and he was a quality player, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's good to see he's still there at the pointy end, and
still punching.
Well, he's punching with a guy that's actually at the top end of the game. Yeah. He's not just another player, Yeah. So great effort. And Brent, shout out to you, mate. Obviously Ryan, fantastic. We had a couple of guys.
Well, Ryan beat Patrick Hood in the final, so we know all about Patrick.
Yeah, Patrick's done well. I think he's made a final last year too.
So, and the good thing is that Michael Reardon, he made the semi-finals of one, so he's had a really good event. But they're all foreigners to us, John. So the best we had was Ian Hinton and Aaron Lynch made quarterfinals.
Yep.
And Ian and Aaron also made the last 16. So they've, last 16 and a quarterfinals. So and they're both state team players.
So they've paid their way.
They're sort of there. And we've also had Anthony Grantham made a last 16, and Sean Salmon made the last 16 of both events. So all of them players have been SA state players.
So
state. And Ian actually won the nationals for us last year. So, and he's a very good player. And Aaron, they're all very good players. I don't see why any of them can't be challenging with the winners. So I think they will. It's probably they're just getting it.
It's the adjustments. I think it's only time. I mean, we discussed a couple of our players that aren't playing that we believe these rules were tailor-made for.
Yeah.
You know,
Nathan Neems
and
Ricky
Ricky Emery, both excellent cueists, quick mappers. And that's one thing I've always admired about Nathan. People always used to think, oh, he's just a point and shoot player, but he's actually visualised the whole layout. You know, he's just said, I'm going to start here and see what happens. He's walked up to the table, he's talked to his cue twice, and he's got, this is the pattern. Off he goes. It's like someone's drawing lines on the table for him. And this would be ideal for him.
I think if Nathan or Ricky played, they would scare most players in both areas.
They'd be worth backing.
Yeah.
Because, that's not often you back anyone against the field.
Yeah.
But both of those players, and with their particular skill set, I think would feature really highly here. Phil raised this with me earlier, prior to us coming online, but it's a very valid point.
Anyway,
now,
they will
what
get
else?
there.
They will get it. Now, last thing I think we'll close on this field, not a whole lot going on right now, is that we have our Masters qualifying this weekend at Empire Bar and Pool. We got, I think, ultimately with 38 starters.
Yeah, big numbers.
38 starters, and that's, look, it's going to be fierce. The competition for spots, as we have every year a new generation of 50-somethings versus our 60 ancients, there's another batch of them come through, and they're all still playing good pool. So obviously it's going to be a challenge for us that managed to go away last year and have such a good time and get a result, of course, to still be there. We'd love to all say, oh, we'll run it by again, but no. You got to work hard, and it wouldn't surprise me if we find 2 or 3 new players in the team. Yeah. There's certain players, I think, JL, Roland, Jason, and probably Munchie. I think those 4.
What about Calvin?
Calvin's not playing.
Okay.
Calvin's not going to play. His vertigo has really knocked him around, and he can have moments where he's just brilliant, and I mean brilliant, and then just can't see a pattern, can't see a basic shot. He says, he said it's such a struggle for him, and it's so frustrating, obviously, when your peak is sensational. Yeah. To where do I start? That's a sort of highs and lows of what he goes through. So,
what about Paul Hancock? Is he back?
Paul's playing all right, actually.
You know what? He's been putting a fair bit of time in here, John.
That's good.
So he told me that he's getting back on the trail again.
Oh, that's good. And that's well, I've seen him cueing the ball quite nicely lately, and he was somewhere near the pointy end last year because he'd just come out of a pretty bad health scare last year.
We made the final of the singles, if you remember.
Yes, he did too. That's right, against Alex. So that was a pretty good effort.
So he's another one that's going to cause problems in that seniors. So
that's right. Definitely. There's such a glut of quality players that have enormous history. These aren't just guys that just learned how to play recently and they got better when they turned 50. These are guys with a history of playing, 20, 30 years of national championships, and so there's a lot of smarts in there as well.
Experience in there, John.
But the younger ones obviously cue stronger. You see Reilly still cues the ball beautiful, gets right through the ball nicely, and Spinner, JL's still playing fantastic. He wouldn't surprise me at all if JL still gets straight back in. Yeah. But I'd go JL, Spinner, Reilly, and Munchie, and then throw the cards in the air for the rest because anything can happen from there. Alex, as the current Masters Australian champion, is straight in the side. Highly unlikely he'll play in the Masters though because he'll still qualify for Open.
Yep.
But he has been gifted a wild card straight into the team, as he should, the Australian champ. But it's unlikely to utilise that wild card because, as he did last year, qualified for both, played in the Open, and they won the Open. So I think that's there's no choice there. If it comes to which one you want to play, and that was his obvious choice. And I had a similar scenario in my management role. So, I could have managed either Open or the Masters. And Alec looks at me and goes, why do you want to come and do the Open? He said, all your mates are over there playing in the Masters. Actually, Alec, you're right.
Maybe he was kicking you out, John.
No, he didn't want me whipping him because he knows that I can be a bit rough on him. But look, that's fine. But yeah, whatever, it all worked out. They won, we won. We all had a ball. Yeah. So onward, upward. We've got 2 weekends. So by the time we do our next report, we'll have Masters team sorted and Masters singles champion.
Yeah.
And we'll nearly be ready for my tournament by the end of that. So
you got me itching to play that, by the way.
Oh, no, hey, look, there's so many. I'm disappointed. I've dropped. Dallas chosen not to play. He said, JB, I said, as much as I love you, I love the tournament, I'm not playing full stop. He said, I put my cue in the rack for good.
Wow.
And I know that he's been saying that to me for a while, and I've been fortunate that, as a mate, he's played in my tournament to help me out. But he said, look, I'm sorry, mate, I can't do it. I was like, hey, look, it's entirely up to you, which is a shame because, that was a good team as well.
Yeah.
But Renata hasn't been practicing because that was their plan was Della and Renata.
Yeah.
Stacey and Lyndall. Stacey can't play, just had his knee operation yesterday, actually.
Yeah.
So he'll be up and about the time my tournament starts.
Okay.
So he won't be practicing much.
Yeah.
But he'll be finally starting to walk freely, and so he was out. So there's one team gone, and then the Bordertown boys also, Southern Sharks they were known as, they were late scratching because one of their boys is crook and the other one has chosen to play in one of the other tournaments.
Okay.
So it's disappointing. But that's life. So we're down to 9. I'm actually looking for one more.
One more team.
I need one more team. So 10 to balance it out. And if you're interested, give me a call. I'll post something on my Facebook page and I'll be talking because we've got the Masters this weekend as well. Yeah. So I've got the perfect sort of hunting ground to whip up the team.
Yeah.
Thanks, Phil.
No
Thank you, mate.
John.
Always a pleasure, mate. Always a pleasure. Goodbye to both of you, and we'll see you next time.
And happy birthday for this week.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.